Another shocking news from the Russia-Ukraine war. It is now widespread that Western nations, particularly the US and the United Kingdom, have warned that the international community will hold Russia accountable for the 22nd Feb 2022 invasion of Ukraine. But another noteworthy matter that is floating around against Putin is that he is imposing obligatory military service. Let's try to find out in today's video. Hello everyone, welcome to the Ukraine war! We are here to deliver to you all the new political movements regarding the Russia-Ukraine conflicts, the casualties, strategies, and the aftermaths of the ongoing war in detail. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon if you don't want to miss any of those. When it comes to serving the country, the word conscription has been associated with a negative connotation. Military conscription is the compulsory enrollment of civilians in the military. Since the 1970s, conscription has decreased dramatically over the world. Except in exceptional circumstances, such as medical problems or religious issues, several countries force all citizens to serve in the military for a certain period. Only men are conscripted in most nations with conscription systems. A few countries also conscript women. Norway, Sweden, North Korea, Israel, and Eritrea, for example, enlist both men and women. Only Norway and Sweden, on the other hand, have a gender-neutral conscription system, in which men and women are both conscripted and serve on equal terms. While some countries have conscription systems, they are not enforced. Amid Russia's war with Ukraine, President Vladimir Putin issued a decree ordering 134,500 new conscripts into the army as part of the country's regular spring draft. The Russian Defense Ministry denied that the conscripts were enlisted to fight in Ukraine, where Moscow's soldiers have faced stiff resistance since their invasion on February 24. Conscription, or obligatory military duty, is a sensitive topic, especially when it comes to wars. On March 9, Russia's Ministry of Defense acknowledged for the first time that Russian conscripts were fighting in Ukraine, and even some people had been captured, contradicting Putin's previous statement that only professional servicemen were involved. Some conscripts have been dispatched to the front after signing a contract to join the professional army under duress, according to Russian independent media and volunteer groups. Earlier, Putin defended his special military operation in Ukraine by claiming that he was attempting to denazify Ukraine's authorities. Thousands of people have been killed on both sides, including Ukrainian civilians, and millions have been displaced from their homes, prompting many to flee Ukraine and seek safety in other nations. The terrifying revelation is the hugely destructive Russian assault on Ukraine is being carried out by a military with an estimated 260,000 soldiers in its ranks, and conscripted soldiers are also part of it. Many of the conscripts originate from sections of the enormous Russian territory that geographers would not hesitate to refer to as backlands. The locations are so far removed from the symbolism of national power that many mobilized categorically refuse to identify as Russian. The Russian military is a hybrid structure that incorporates both a classic cadre and reserve conscript system and a contract professional system. For example, an estimated 18,000 Crimeans were forced into the invading Russian armed forces during the first 4 years of occupation. The soldiers' mothers were against war politics in Russia, and they started raising the alarm even before the invasion, writing on social media that their sons had gone missing after being abruptly transferred to military bases near the border. Some alleged their sons were not told where they were going until they were in Ukraine, where they are fighting a heated conflict. Others claim they were compelled to sign so-called war contracts under the penalty of physical assault from superiors. Russian law requires such contracts before conscripts can be deployed to war zones. The mothers said they received several calls in a day from concerned soldiers since the invasion began. Meanwhile, authorities from Ukraine's Interior Ministry have taken it upon themselves to inform the Russian population about the war's gruesome outcomes, posting images of deceased Russian soldiers on a website called Look for Yours. Margarita Yudina, who lives in Luga, about 100 kilometers 60 miles south of St. Petersburg, is furious that her two sons, 24 years old Robert and 20 years old Rostislav, have recently been summoned for military service. She blames their predicament on her political actions and vows to fight so that her children, one of whom is diabetic, should not be taken to slavery school. She also fears that her sons would be abused. This is an issue that persists in the army even though it has decreased dramatically since Russia took significant steps in 2008 to prevent older recruits from beating up on younger ones. While Russia President Vladimir Putin has stated that conscription is becoming a historical relic, it remains a constant aspect of Russian strategy in a country that is always on the lookout for invasion. While the Russian army has worked to professionalize its ranks in recent years, it still relies on conscripts for both its active duty force and reserve troops in case of a general mobilization. To be battle-capable, most combat units must be staffed with conscripts or mobilized reservists. Contract troops are primarily seen in the cadre and elite units, particularly airborne units. Conscription still demands the vehement and uncompromising criticism of internationalists. According to them, it's a risky, criminal, and self-defeating activity that puts everyone at risk. It should have been abolished uniformly a long time ago. The term conscripts has different meanings in different countries. Conscription in Russia stretches back to the 17th century. It was compulsory for all men between the ages of 18 and 27 in Russia, and they are conscripted for 12 months. From 1 January 2008, the Russian government and Parliament Duma gradually reduced the term of service to 18 months for those who were conscripted in 2007 and to 1 year for those who were conscripted in 2008, as well as to remove some legal excuses for non-conscription, such as non-conscription of rural doctors and teachers, men with children under the age of 3, and so on from the law. Additionally, from January 1, 2008, full-time students who have completed a civil university and have a military education used to be exempted from conscription. In 2008, Russia shortened the mandatory service duration for conscription from 2 to 1 year. Avoiding the draft in Russia can result in fines of up to 200,000 rubles, $2,420, or perhaps jail. According to the previous directive signed by Putin, the military draft would encompass individuals between the ages of 18 and 45. But the Russian military holds 2 annual draft sessions, one in the spring and one in the fall, during which it selects eligible males aged 18 to 27 for a year of service. According to a Kremlin directive, President Vladimir Putin has set a recruitment goal of 134,500 men this time. Russia began its spring draft of young men eligible for national service, promising that conscripts would not be deployed to Ukraine, where over 1,000 militaries have been killed. Conscription abolition is a long-standing demand of the internationalist left, and it has been noticeably lacking from many progressive responses to the invasion of Ukraine. The update is particularly striking, given that the invasion may not have been possible without Russia's policy of requiring young men to serve in the military, which accounts for roughly a quarter of the country's standing military, including, presumably, some of the boots currently on the ground in Ukraine. The performance of the Russian army in Ukraine has been heavily criticized by Western leaders and military professionals. Jeremy Fleming, the head of the British espionage agency Government Communications Headquarters GCHQ, stated that low-morale Russian troops in Ukraine were refusing to follow orders, sabotaging their equipment, and even inadvertently shooting down one of their planes. Many Western countries that are not at war, such as Germany, the US, and the UK, do not have compulsory conscription and rely completely on volunteers for their militaries. Active conscription in the US Army was last used in 1973. During the American Revolutionary War, the American Civil War, both World Wars, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, conscription was used. During both World Wars, the UK had a policy of compulsory conscription, which was maintained after WW2 until 1960. In 1963, the final conscripted men were discharged from the army. Until today, the Kremlin and military officials had denied it. The Defense Ministry said, "Unfortunately, we have discovered several facts about the presence of conscripts and units taking part in the special military operation in Ukraine. Practically all such soldiers have been pulled out to Russia." With that being said, that takes us to the end of the episode. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel and push notifications bell to keep up with our work. See you soon. Until then, peace.